Darlings, it's Mummy, Sybil Brunchen, and I'm coming to you from New York City, from almost the heart of New York City, certainly Manhattan, and here's Broadway. I'm on Broadway right below Times Square, and there's Times Square up there. You could sort of see it, blinking away like Star Wars. It's so interesting to have lived in New York for all those decades, many, many decades, certainly through the stormy 70s and the whatever you would describe the 80s as being, to have survived disasters like COVID and AIDS and everything, and to leave. First of all, when I left in 2020, well, George and I had never thought that we'd be leaving. We thought we'd grow old and die in New York City. And then the world changed, from under our feet. And our friends were losing their homes and their jobs and their lives. And so we moved to the suburbs of Philadelphia so that George could be on QVC. And we actually make trips back to New York, like today, because George is going to be on the Sherry Shepherd show, for instance, and talk about the red carpet for the Oscars and everything. So anyway, and he has clients here. But we come back, and New York is literally, it's always swallowing its tail. It's always devouring itself. But it's really startling to come back and see the changes that take place in New York. Has New York come back from COVID? Yes. It has certainly devoured itself. The corporations have eaten up all the small mom and pop restaurants that were here. There were all the little mom and pop cafes and bookstores and everything, and those are gone. Greenwich Village is unrecognizable. People keep talking about the charm of Greenwich Village. The only charm left is that it's mostly 6-story brownstones, but those are no longer apartment buildings. Now they're private homes for millionaires and billionaires who don't even live in them, who only come through for like a month or so in spring or in the fall, and then they go back to St. Bart's and wherever. Anyway, I'm here on 38th, 39th. This is back right literally where we used to work at the fashion industry. Tommy Hilfiger was down the street from here. And in the time we've been gone, they have managed yet again, this is very Bloomberg, they have, even though he's no longer the mayor, they've managed to shut Broadway off at 40th Street. Completely shut it off, not narrow it to a one-lane street like down in 23rd where Broadway becomes just a one-lane thing. They've built this park and literally shut down Broadway so that if you're coming down Broadway, you have to, on 40th Street, turn off and go somewhere else, because this has all become a bike lane and a seating area. And by the way, a seating area and a sculpture garden, there you go. It's a seating area that can only be used, for like 6 months of the year. Who's going to sit in here in February? And for tourists, I mean, we don't want tourists sitting outdoors. We want them inside eating food or seeing theater. So, but it's amazing to me that post 9/11, when we saw what the city was like on 9/11 with trying to get ambulances and emergency workers from one place to another, this is the aftermath. And by the way, this is a post-Bloomberg and Giuliani world. They would put this in. They would choose this, and it gets worse as we go up to Times Square, 42nd Street. Oh my God, there's a huge area there, 34th Street. Huge arteries have been blocked by this kind of corporate cholesterol. That's all I can describe it as. Why would you shut this all down and render this impossible for emergency workers to get through? All for what? Some steel and stone sculpture and some seating areas where only the pigeons are enjoying it. It's just amazing to me that if we ever had another 9/11 in this city, and especially with the needle buildings that are going up, as you can see in the distance, those 80-story buildings that are going up, and they're only 18 feet wide, why would we do this? Why on earth would we do this? It's always edifying to me to see that millionaires and billionaires are as stupid as the rest of us. You'd think with their advantages they would be smarter, but nope, they're just as dumb as everybody else. Oh, well, darlings. All right. Well, Mummy's off. I've got more errands to run before we watch the Oscars tonight and get George ready for his Sherry Shepherd appearance. So I will talk to you later. A tout à l'heure. Darlings, even when you're dealing with mendacity and stupidity like this, it's important to find some beauty around you. And so all I can say is that to stay present, to stay mindful, and to be grateful. And remember that everything you see and smell and touch and taste and hear and hold in your hand and your heart, it's all only borrowed. All only borrowed.